My name is Hans-Peter Lankes. I'm the Managing Director and Deputy Chief Executive of ODI Global, a leading global affairs think tank. We have the privilege of having Dr. Samuel Maimbo with us. Dr. Samuel Maimbo is a recognized expert in economic development and was, until very recently, a Vice President at the World Bank. He is now a candidate for the African Development Bank Presidency, with the election forthcoming in May. Dr. Maimbo, I would like to ask you some questions about your vision for the role. How can and should the African Development Bank address Africa's biggest challenges at the current juncture?
The African Development Bank needs to use its biggest assets, that's its voice, its staff, and its financing, to support governments finance the development that they aspire to for their people. This means narrowly focusing on growth, significantly higher levels of growth than we are currently experiencing, because that is the only way in which Africa is able to address its key challenges today and make sure it's creating 1 billion jobs for its young people who are coming into the labor market every year. Africa has enough plans and proposals and strategies, and frankly, all of us are tired of reading them. What Africa needs now is to focus on implementation, getting things done. That's what I've done in the last 30 years of my career. That's what I intend to do at the African Development Bank.
How will you position the African Development Bank to expand its lending capacity and, at the same time, unlock more private sector financing for Africa?
The first part is to really acknowledge that we are living in very challenging times, when we know for a fact that concessional financing has been declining and will likely continue to decline for quite some time. So it's inevitable that there are 3 levers that we must pull and pull aggressively. The first one, top of the list, is the private sector, making sure that we're working with governments, we're working with other MDBs to make sure that the private sector is able to come into the continent and conduct business as effectively and efficiently as possible. This means looking at our government policies, looking at infrastructure, looking at effective public-private partnerships, and making sure that they function. The second lever is domestic resource mobilization, and not only just taxation, but actually looking at how we are allocating government resources and making sure that we're working with state-owned enterprises and collecting the fees for the services that they provide. And thirdly, making sure that the balance sheet of the African Development Bank itself is used to catalyze the financial resources of other financial institutions on the continent, but as well as other MDBs around the world. This is not a job for one institution. It's a job for all of us, and we must do our best to make sure that Africa develops at a pace and scale that we need it to grow.
Now, what is your top priority for the African Development Bank if elected?
My top priority is to make sure that Africa is trading with each other at a larger scale than we currently are doing. Every single global or regional economy that has grown, whether it's the United States, Europe, or Asia, has done so by trading with their neighbors. At only 15%, this is grossly inadequate, but it is a tremendous opportunity for us to bring down the barriers of trade, because when Africa is not trading with each other, everything that we produce is either going to rot or is going to be undervalued. So trade is fundamental, and that's a top priority. To anchor that trade, we must double down our investments in energy and infrastructure and be very purposeful, keeping in mind that we simply do not have all of the resources we need for a grand plan that doesn't deliver the results for our people. So trade, trade, trade. That's crucial to creating the types of jobs we need, crucial to supporting our traditional enterprises like mining and agriculture, but also the newer industries like the film industries and sports industries. We must make it easier for us to deal and trade with each other consistently over time. That's the only way we grow and create the type of jobs Africa needs today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maimbo. It was a privilege talking to you.